ladies and gentlemen, to It Came From Netflix, here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a movie that, I honestly am kind of surprised to say this, I've never seen this movie. I totally understand that that's, sort of par for the course with the series, but this movie is ridiculously popular. It was made in the 80s. Being a child of the 80s, I should have grown up on this damned thing, but I guess I must have lived a rather sheltered childhood because I never got a chance to see it. Tonight's movie came out in 1986. It is Jim Henson's cinematic opus, Labyrinth. I'm going to tell you guys everything I know about Labyrinth because I guess I myself have also kept myself in the dark for the past 20 some odd years. I know that David Bowie's in it. I know he has a bunch of floating fucking like fushigi balls that he controls somehow. I don't know how. Again, never seen the fucking movie. And it's directed by Jim Henson. That's all I know. I know jack shit about the plot beyond that. And a couple of people told me that David Bowie plays I guess it's the Goblin King. I'll find out when I fucking watch it. I never fucking read up on this thing. I never saw the movie. I'm totally in the fucking dark. I didn't even bother to watch the trailer for this thing. So, yeah, guys, this is all going to be a complete and total mystery to me. And I'm hoping that it turns out to be pretty good. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Labyrinth. Guys, I totally understand that it's really early in this film, but I want this character Sarah to fucking die. I want her to die a violent, bloody, goddamn death. I hope that lightning strikes her and she fucking catches fire. That is how much I despise this fucking bitch, and the movie's just started. Okay, guys. Now, when I mentioned that David fucking Bowie in this movie had those little friggin', like fushigi things, I really thought I was being snarky. No, he was just doing contact juggling, which is what fucking, like fushigi is for. I never really thought I would see that. I seriously thought I was just being like, I just sort of thought I was being a snarky dick. I didn't really think I would call what I'd be fucking seeing. Oh, and now it's a snake. And that effect was really cool. Guys, this honestly is worth mentioning right now. This film has some absolutely spectacular puppet work. Then again, though, that honestly shouldn't be a huge shock since everything here was created in the Jim Henson Creature Shop. But still, it is worth mentioning. This is some fantastic puppeteering, man. Guys, for being a cowardly douchebag, Hoggle is still 10 times more likable than fucking, Sarah here could ever be. Which is kind of sad, but it also tells you exactly how absolutely cool and awesome Hoggle is as a fucking character. Alright, two things. Number one, this song is really cool. It's really catchy. However, the fucking blue screen effects in this scene are painful as hell. Even by 1986 standards, this is bad fucking blue, screening, guys. Honestly, after everything else has been so good, this honestly is a little bit disappointing. Well, folks, it certainly is good to see that Jim Henson was just tasteful enough to make sure that the bog of eternal stench has what very clearly look to be pulsating fucking anuses. That's God, that is just disgusting. Alright, guys, I believe I now have a favorite character in this fucking movie. I love Sir fucking Didymus, man. He is friggin' amazing. He is probably one of the most badass, one-eyed fucking foxes I have ever seen. He really is fucking cool, man. You know, guys, I seriously was having doubts about David Bowie's acting going into this, because for some reason I just didn't have him pegged as a good actor, but well, even though this is just him singing, god damn it, he honestly has put on a really good showing here. And that was a really cool fucking effect. I'm gonna have to hopefully talk about that when the movie's done. Well, folks, that was Labyrinth. Let me shut that off. Okay, so now to talk about the movie. First of all, I would like to say that one thing I was really like petrified of about this before I even got into watching it, because I'd been talking with people about this movie, and I asked them not to spoil anything, and thank God nobody did. But see, the one thing though I was just absolutely afraid of was that the mountains and mountains of praise and hype I was getting for this movie was going to absolutely ruin it, because I've noticed that, at least with me, hype kind of has that problem where hype will devastate something. This movie lives up to every bit of hype I heard from everybody for the last, well, couple of years, since people started questioning why I hadn't watched it up until this point. So, frankly, I'm kind of surprised. A movie where mountains of hype did not fucking destroy it for me. I'm completely in utter shock over that. This movie was really good, and I totally know that you guys like me to kind of save that for towards the end, especially when it's for a good movie. But I just kind of had to share that now, and now I'm gonna have to try to explain why it was so good. As if, well, again, I'm probably one of the last people on the planet who hadn't fucking watched this thing yet, so most of you know what I'm going to talk about before I even go in. But I do have to start. Writing, I am going to say that every character in this movie is very, very, deep, varied, and colorful. And everybody's got tons and tons of personality, which, frankly, is a lot more than I can say for most of the garbage I've watched recently. But then again, to even compare this thing to some of the recent turds I've watched is nothing shy of insulting to this film. It's far too good for those sorts of comparisons. But yeah, we have here characters who are very, very, richly created and very, very, like, richly developed. We have awesome characters here, and I really have only one that I don't fucking like, and that's our main character, Sarah. She was written as just such an unlikable bitch. And I understand. I totally understand. She looks to have been maybe 16, 17, and around that age, and even a little bit younger. When you are a teenager, you're always ridiculously moody and bitchy and all this other shit, and that goes for both men and women. Believe me, I actually was sort of a moody, irritating dick at the age of 14 myself. But you know what? She pushes it to such fucking extents that, well, you guys heard me. Within the first 10 minutes, I wanted her to catch fire and die. That should tell you how irritating she is. And by the end of the film, she seriously has not developed much, except now she's not quite as much of an irritating bitch, but she's still irritating. But you know what? Baby steps. At least she fucking developed a little bit, and that's the least I could have asked for. And everybody else in the film is just absolutely lovable and awesome, and that also includes our villain, who is the Goblin King, played by, David fucking Bowie. And you know what? I know I mentioned this earlier. I really did not think that Bowie would know how to act. I had never seen the man act in any other films. And oftentimes when singers get that crazy notion in their head that they can act, it usually ends poorly. But this time it ended very, very well. Bowie turned in a fantastic performance. And since he also had a hand in the soundtrack, I am going to get to the soundtrack right now. it naturally was going to be good because, frankly, I would have been surprised if a movie that was scored by Bowie would fucking be shit. No, 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 no. It is all music from David Bowie. It's going to be good, okay? There is absolutely no question on that. But I do have to warn, because I do know a couple of people out there who are just not fans of music which is very heavy on synthesizers, and there's a lot of music in here which is very, very, like, synth heavy. So I just have to kind of warn on that. You might not enjoy the music in this film if you're not a big fan of synthesizer music. But hey, beyond that though, the fucking music in this thing is absolutely fantastic. Now, I didn't really go much into writing. I kind of rushed right into acting and music. So let me go back to writing and try to cover a few more things here. The story's, pacing is very, very good. Everything here makes perfect sense, which, again, compared to the bullshit I've covered, this fucking month, that is certainly a breath. That's certainly a big breath of fresh air. I'm just trying to think what else I could talk about in terms of the writing. The characters are all very, very well, written. Dialogue. The dialogue in this film is very, very sharp, very witty, very funny. I really did love every moment of it, except the moments when we have to deal with Sarah's bitchiness. But again, that's just my own personal dislike of the character in general, thanks to the first 4 minutes, her being an absolute fucking bitch. Okay, so covered. Okay, let's talk about special effects. Special effects, I'm going to cover the one lone negative I know of from watching this movie. The one negative. That's it. There's one bad thing this movie had, and that is their use of blue screen. It is all of their chroma key effects. Now, before I get into why that is a negative, I have to say that everything else in this film is amazing in terms of special effects. I mean, we have puppet work, which was done by the Jim Henson Creature Shop. Jim Henson directed this. So naturally, we were going to have some of the best fucking puppeteering in the history of film. In fact, I would say that this is quite possibly one of Jim Henson's best works in terms of just puppeteering. So we have that. The opening scene is almost all CG, and it looks great by 1986 standards. I mean, by, today's standards, it wouldn't be that good. But at that time, it looked fantastic. And frankly, it still looks pretty good. It still looks like pretty good today if you're one of those ones who's willing to look at old, 80s like CG and still actually admit that it looks pretty fucking decent. So we have all of that. We also have the final conflict between Sarah and the Goblin King, or rather, the start of the final conflict is set in this M.C. Escher themed room, which is just basically like stairways going in all different fucking directions, and there are people and characters walking and standing straight up, upside down, sideways, just sort of like a fucking M.C. Escher painting. Duh. And the one thing is that there actually is a point where we have like a platform here. We have Sarah standing right here, and the Goblin King is like walking down here. Of course, he's facing like straight down. He comes walking over, and then the camera catches him as he sort of like swings upward. Looks really good. So we have fantastic effects like that, and then the blue screen scenes are shown. Oh my god. Guys, I fucking know because I experimented with these back in my days of doing rants on YouTube, that chroma key effects are a pain in the ass to do. There are two big instances, though, where this film utilized that, and it just stands out like a sore thumb, and it looks like shit in comparison to all of the other effects in this film. One of them has to do with these little, like furry creatures. I didn't really catch their name, but their like big thing is that they basically are able to separate their body parts. So you'll have like one standing, and then his leg will like dance off to the side, and then dance back. And they probably had to do the like green screen, or rather in this case blue. I'm going to assume a blue screen. Basically to cover the actors actually moving these limbs and making it look so awesome. So I can kind of understand that they had to use blue screen, but I kind of wish that they had utilized it a little bit better because it just looks sort of poorly, done here. And then there's one other scene which is right at the end of Sarah's little like drug drug fantasy when she runs up to a mirrored surface, which again is just a blue screen, and you can see this thick blue outline around her, which is also how you can tell that the other scene I'm talking about was done in blue screen, is just these ridiculously thick blue outlines on everything. And it just looks so out of place. It looks so horrible when compared to all of the other when compared to all of the other, like opticals and puppeteer work and CG and everything else which is in this film. All of that looks so great, and then we have the blue screen shit, which looks hideous. Now, mind you, though, I honestly am kind of looking for those sorts of things, and it's really a bad habit, and I look for it even when I'm not filming for reaction and review. So, what can I say? Just maybe it's a curse. But it seriously just sort of stands out. It looks really, really out. It looks really like out of place, especially when everything else is so good. And guys, honest to God, that is like the one lone negative I have, is that the blue screen effects in this movie look absolutely abysmally bad when compared to everything else. Now, oh man, I'm trying to think if there's anything else worth talking about. Pacing was good, writing was good, dialogue was good. Voice acting, I didn't really touch on voice acting. I just barely covered acting in terms of just Bowie, but the acting in this film is really good. A lot of it is voice acting for people having to basically provide the voices for the puppets, and all those actors do a fantastic job, and all of them are able to add even more life and personality to these already very, very vibrant puppets. So that much there is just a fantastic case of mission accomplished. Trying to think if there's anything else worth truly mentioning, but no, that I think kind of covers everything. Now, of course, now for those of you who skipped way the hell ahead and you missed when I said it before, yes, I highly recommend this movie. It is fantastic. It's funny, it's witty, it's sharp. Oh, yes! Parents, anybody who has kids, if you like me before I started filming this episode had never seen this movie, I can say it is a fantastic family film. There is very, very little here which could be seen as offensive outside of pulsating puppet anuses in the pit of eternal or the bog of eternal stench, I think was the name of it. Besides that, and besides a handful of uses of some of the lightest curse words you can use, stuff like damn and hell, stuff like that. Beyond those couple of questionable things, and one character is taking a piss in the first scene that we see them. But okay, beyond all of that, the movie is very family friendly. I would highly recommend this for kids. I mean, if you have kids and you want to show them a really good movie and you don't have something like, say, like the like Secret of Nim on hand, go right ahead and show them this. This thing's awesome. And now, while I'm on the subject of watching this as a kid, now that I finally had a chance to watch this, the one thing I can say is, God damn it, I missed out as a fucking kid, man. I would have adored this thing as a kid. I mean, shit, guys. Now, if I honestly am loving this movie now, I would have loved it even more as a kid, and I'd probably adore it even more today. I seriously feel kind of pissed off with me for having missed out on the fucking thing. So yeah. Now I have another movie I can add to a forever growing list of favorites, and God damn it, I missed out. I feel really fucking depressed now because I didn't watch this as a kid, and by all rights I fucking should have. Now I'm going to stop dwelling on that just because there's nothing I can do about it now. What's done is done. But I am happy I finally had a chance to watch it about 20 years after I fucking should have. So anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.